Hello everyone, I'm Andy.
And I'm Mark. Again, still.
This is Strange Stuff Podcast, Halloween edition.
Is it?
Yes, because next weekend, when this goes out, I think this week is going to be the one where they do the trick-or-treating. So I'm going to go down to the supermarket and make sure I'm prepared this year.
I'll tell you what's the absolute best. You can buy big bags with little bags of sweets in it. And so, you can hand them out, individual little packets of Haribo or something.
So you've got experience of giving sweets to kids?
Well, in fact, not. It's, about 5 years ago, the kids came round and I didn't have anything. I think I gave them an apple each or something. And so from then on, I started buying these things in anticipation, but they had such a bad experience with the apples, they don't bother coming back. Poor kids. We do have a few in the area. I mean, there are certainly children in the area, but normally they come with their mum and dads anyway.
Last year, I had, I think, 3 lots of kids knock on the door on a Friday evening, and I had nothing.
Yeah.
It was a week before Halloween, and even then, it hadn't occurred to me. So Saturday morning, I went down to the supermarket and I bought 2 kilos of fucking candy and stuck it in a big bowl by the door, inside the house, obviously.
Yeah.
No fucker came. I ended up eating the lot.
2 kilos in the one night. Yeah, you must have felt great.
Not in one go. I mean, it took me a couple of weeks, but it was just there. What can you do?
Yeah. But other than that, all is well on the island. I'm feeling a bit achy because I'm doing this winter training with the club, which is actually far more demanding.
Are you still trying to impress the young ones?
There aren't too many young ones, actually, and I don't think, however much training I do, I'm going to impress them, that's for sure. But no, in fact, I cleared out I've got a little gym area downstairs, and I do use it in the winter. Normally in the summer I don't. And in fact, I cleared it out the other day, so I do have my little gym area again. I even went to Beale Turner and bought some, what do you call it? Just, weights.
What, free weights?
Free weights, because I understand now that when you get to our age, it's not the, because I've got my rowing machine and things, it's not that you need to do, it's actually build up muscle. You should do strength training, if that's what they call it. So, some light, simple, free weights.
I agree. Yesterday I cooked my first Christmas ham of the year.
What the fuck? What is the date? It's the 22nd of October yesterday, for God's sake.
I like to get a few hams in. I took it out of the fridge this morning to make myself some ham on toast. And I could barely hold the thing as I was pulling it out of the fridge. It's so heavy. I could feel the
weight.
My wrists about to snap.
Well, it is quite pathetic. I've never done anything like that. And that's what we do at this training. 2 times a week, we do sort of strength work as well. I'm absolutely hopeless. People are doing exercises on the floor. There's a particular one where you lay on your tummy on a mat, and the idea is you lift your head and chest and your feet off the mat. I just can't do it. Some of the girls, some of the women, they're sort of half a metre above the bloody ground.
Yeah,
I'm still wiping my nose on the mat. I can't even get my head off the floor.
Do you ask for help?
Yeah, exactly. Can you give us a help, darling?
Oh,
give us a hand.
Are you finished?
So anyway, that's going to keep me interested and occupied for a couple of weeks before I have to find something else.
Silver comes in handy.
Well, Ilva certainly doesn't do any strength training, but she does, she likes to go to the spinning classes. That's what Ilva likes.
I mean, she can pick you up off the floor.
She probably could. In fact, I've got a friend in England who's got a new girlfriend who was saying that she can bench press more than he weighs, which is quite impressive. No, she's not actually. I think she's a similar age, but she's one of these real fitness people.
I think finding a girlfriend these days is a bit like finding a parking place.
And that is?
All the best ones are taken, so you end up slipping it into a disabled and hoping nobody ever finds out.
Well done. Was that the right button, or was that supposed to be a laugh?
No, that was the right button. What you were probably expecting
was. I see. Oh, that's a good one as well. So how many buttons have you got to choose from?
32.
Really? That's quite challenging for you, Andy.
And
the cat.
I get lost on one. But I'll tell you what, you haven't heard this one for a while.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Yes. So where did you manage to track that down from? Or can you download record sounds from the internet to play?
Yeah, of course. I've got a stock on board my computer anyway.
All right. And now a word from my sponsors. Is exercise something you ever consider? You're exactly the sort of person who should do it.
I know. I consider it all the time. It's like, where? I have no gym.
Are you sure there's no gym in the village?
Well, there might be one gym, but I think he's married.
You don't feel like practicing on him. Talking about Jim, isn't Ivan's son called Jim?
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of work on his house at the moment. Because you know he's on the island.
Yeah, but he's had that house for like 20 years, isn't he?
Well, not quite, but he's certainly had it for 10 years. No, but other than that, not too much to report. And in fact, do you remember that on Saturday night the clocks go back?
No, but it just doesn't occur to me, and there's no need to, because they all do it automatically. It doesn't really affect my life.
Well, it does, because your body clock gets screwed up.
My body clock doesn't work like most humans.
No, you're right, it doesn't. But interestingly, and I don't know if it's possible to actually prove it, I feel far more at home at the winter time, which you know that's the normal time, as compared to summertime. It sounds ridiculous. You'd think you get used to an hour apart, but I always feel more in tune.
See,
in the winter.
You were trained as a child by Nanny, and that's the problem. She'd put you down at a certain time for your naps and for your story times, and you've stuck with that routine ever since. Whereas
maybe
we were just thrown out onto the streets and told not to come back until the lamps came on outside.
That's right. Was that the signal? When the lamps come on, Andy, you've got to come back in for tea.
Yeah.
Or supper. What did you have in your household? Supper, wasn't it? Dinner.
And you didn't
I thought you had dinner at lunchtime.
Lunch? You fucking flash cunt. Lunch? You never had lunch. If we could scavenge something out on the bomb sites that we could stick in our gobs, or shoplift from the local sweet shop.
Were there bomb sites in 1970 in the East End of London? There probably were. They hadn't got around to the East End rebuilding after the war.
North London, and we did have a bomb site just across the road from us.
I'll tell you what I watched last night.
The others to go and visit as well. Lots of broken glass and jutting pieces of metal to play with.
Now, I don't want to criticise your equipment, but your voice sounds terrible today. It is still quite echoey.
Maybe if I turn off...
Yeah, echoey is the right way to describe it.
What if I turn off my button? Something's
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Here's a question for you. I'll give you a clue. It's cat-related. What film did I watch last night?
Cats.
No.
Catwoman?
What's that film, The Cray Brothers? What's the Cray Brothers?
Which one? There's The Firm.
You know, the one with...
Tom Hardy.
No, the one with Tom Hardy, who plays both roles, I assume.
Legend.
What's it called?
Legend.
Yeah, exactly, Legend. It was quite a good movie. I mean, obviously, I've seen it before. That bloke, Reggie, spent 33 years in prison.
Yeah.
That is a long old time.
Yeah.
So his career as a criminal was actually quite short.
And then you get, I mean, I was talking with Richard yesterday doing the murdery bits, and we were talking about the Jamie Bolger case. And those two little shit fucks spent 8 years in prison.
8?
8 years.
I thought they were still in prison.
No. They let them out at the first possible opportunity. And they've both been sent back for violating their probation, one of them for child porn offences. Where is the justice in this country?
So Reggie was obviously I say the same one, if you can call him sane, and Ronnie was the nutter who ended up in a mental institution.
Yes.
You were too young to ever go to one of their clubs, weren't you?
I was, unfortunately, but I would definitely have been there. I did meet the older brother, Charlie Craig.
What? There was an older brother?
Yeah, Charlie. He was also attracted to men or boys. I met him in a pub down the King's Road, Markham Arms, and he was in the company of a very pretty young boy.
All right.
And also Mad Frankie Fraser was quite a regular in Soho.
Mad Frankie what?
Mad Frankie Fraser. He's one of the Craig gang.
But the thing was that they never lived...
4'10", this guy, Frankie.
He was 4'10".
It seemed like that. I mean, I'm not that tall, but I was looking down on him and I was thinking, I bet you learned how to fight at a very early age.
One interesting thing about that movie, and I don't know if it's a true reflection of what the situation was, in spite of their ill-gotten gains, which were obviously quite substantial, they lived in very modest houses.
Yeah, they stayed where they were born. I mean, they just grew up in the East End and they stayed in the East End.
Yeah, but they didn't buy opulent castles in the East End. They just stayed in the terraced houses where they grew up.
You've got to remember that in those days, home ownership was a thing that only your toffs did.
Really?
You were born and you died in a council house in the city.
Maybe.
Anyone who bought a house would immediately be ostracised.
Really?
Community.
Anyway, mildly entertaining, and you still didn't get the cat link. Oh, well, you must have done now, Ronnie and Reggie, obviously.
Well,
your cats.
Obviously. You told me it was legend anyway.
Oh, did I? All right. So, yes, that's the depth of the entertainment offered on the island at the moment. You know, when it's raining outside, you don't really feel like doing much.
Well, you can see I've got my lights on in here, and it's like 8:30 in the morning. It's gloomy outside.
I'm the same. I was up at 7 this morning and pitch black. Couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is nearly the weekend for us. I don't know when do the listeners listen to this? On a Wednesday, isn't it?
Sunday. Do you not?
Sunday.
After 4 years, you still don't know anything about what we do.
Well, you try and keep me in the dark. That's the whole idea, isn't it?
I wonder why you've never been promoted.
What's there to be promoted to, I wonder? There's a hierarchy on this show, is there?
Yeah, absolutely.
You obviously haven't seen my name tag.
Well, I mean, luckily you're the only one who can see it.
So, yes, other than that, I'll tell you what is amusing, just for our American listeners, and I don't know what they think of it, but when Trump wanted to build his ballroom, he definitely said he wasn't going to do anything to the White House in terms of ripping anything out. He was just going to build a ballroom. But have you seen what he's done? Yesterday,
you're allowed to do that.
I don't know. I mean, he's incumbent there, technically, for only 4 years. And yet there was one of these bulldozers with those great big claws just ripping chunks out of the east wing of the White House. How could he possibly be allowed to do it?
That's Putin porn, that is.
Literally. I wonder if he got planning permission. Do you think he went through the right channels to get planning permission?
Highly unlikely. He probably just wrote an executive order.
I mean, the thing is that the White House has to be regarded as one of the most historically relevant houses in America, or buildings in America, and he just rips it apart.
Yeah, but, you know, he's got class and taste, so the only thing that can happen is it will be an improvement and it will increase the value of the White House for when they sell it to the Chinese.
I don't know, you know, I just don't know whether it's real or not. But have you seen what he's done to the Oval Office? All of the ornate cornice work and things around the fireplace, I think he's painted them gold.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It looks like a tart's boudoir.
That's what I mean. He's got such class.
I mean, where does he get his interior design ideas from?
From Trump Towers.
Anyway, so that was... did we actually... We haven't spoken since the No Kings demonstrations, though, did we? Have we?
No.
No. I mean, you know, it's. Did you see that he going back to Trump again, that he'd posted some, is it called a meme, where he was flying an F-15 or something, dropping poop bombs on the crowds of people.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not a king. What is his issue?
Yeah, well, that's what he was saying. That's exactly why I'm not a king. I'm the president working hard to make your lives better. But you just didn't get it. Anyway, so that's, and what's going on in England? I think Keir Starmer's been in for a bit of stick. Oh, of course, the robbery in the Louvre. You weren't connected with that, were you? You didn't know anybody who did that.
No comment.
Yeah, in your dreams. But it was a real, it was a real cat burglar robbery, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did a proper Pink Panther.
Pink Panther, exactly, they did. The camera, where they broke in, there was no camera pointing in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some inside information going on with this. And of course, the stuff was stolen to order, so they're never going to find it.
What do you mean stolen to order? What was stolen? Was it Marie Antoinette's jewellery or something?
There was some Napoleonic jewellery that's been taken, and it's now sitting in a billionaire's safe, never to be seen again, except by the billionaire and some of his friends.
You think it's a bit of a Thomas Crown affair, do you?
Well, you can't ever sell it, especially in this day and age with the internet.
Well, they're not going to put it on eBay, are they?
Well, no, and they're not going to take it down to Joe the Jew's pawn shop on the corner either.
What was that, Joe the... God's sake. So that was, I mean, you know, luckily no one, I don't think anybody was hurt. I think it really was a Pink Panther jobby.
Yeah. No, they were just in and out, got what they wanted, although they did drop one of the crowns that was used for Marie Antoinette on the way out, and it was damaged, and that crown alone was worth tens of millions of euros.
Really?
Over 1,000.
They dropped it.
Rubies in there.
You had just one job. Do you think that was the junior in the team who managed to drop it on the way out?
Come on, Governor, let me come. I'll be good, I promise.
Exactly. You stupid boy. So, yeah, so that was, you know, it's not often you get things like that, is it? Actual jewellery heists.
Not these days.
No.
But of course, technology has made this sort of thing really, really tricky now.
Well, they seem to have succeeded. Well, they've got away with it so far.
Cameras everywhere. It's just...
Yeah.
But a heist like that, I mean, that's worth trying. Because you only need it to work once.
You're right. And to be honest, if they get caught, how long do you go to prison for a clean, non-violent robbery?
No, sorry, but once you start messing with money, especially money that belongs to the Crown or the government, you are going away forever. That's why the great train robbers they spent more time in prison than anyone else in England, simply because they robbed a Royal Mail train.
They'd probably do quite well on a podcast, though, if they started up a little podcast, the Louvre Robbers. I wonder what they're called in France.
The Louvre Robert.
Yeah, well, that's just what I said with a Cornish pirate accent, with a French baguette stuck up his arse. Yep. No, I think that... What else has happened? Is there anything we've missed out on? That's about it, isn't it? News-wise.
Anyone died?
I don't think so. Well, obviously, quite a few people have died, but no one that...
Oh, hang on. Prince Andrew, finally fully removed from the royal family.
Yes, that's right. Virginia
Kerfuffle. She changed her name, didn't she? It was Virginia something, and now it's Virginia Guffey.
Guffey, exactly. Yes.
Dead, by the way.
No, she committed suicide a year or two ago. It was pretty damning. I mean, not only of Prince Andrew, but the story, as has been reported, about the Prime Minister, who really, really abused her in a terrible...
Yes.
And I think they've remained unnamed, but there's speculation about who it was.
There's a lot of speculation. I've seen it. Unfortunately, until someone actually comes, and they should come forward and say, look, stop speculating, it was this guy. I don't see why anyone's being protected.
Well, you know who is the front runner,
Yeah,
and so that explains it all.
yeah, but what? So what? So it doesn't matter which prime minister you are. You shouldn't be afforded that kind of protection.
No, of course you shouldn't. But of course, no.
Anyone who knows is just sort of basically involved. It's like covering up for Jimmy Savile at the BBC. If you knew what he was doing, you're fucking guilty.
Of course, I completely agree, but it's the American authorities who are never going to release. That's probably more of a reason why they're not releasing the Epstein files than anything to do with Trump, because that country's Secret Service and weapons buying department have said if you ever release those files, we're stopping buying weapons from you.
Well, that's just bullshit, because whoever's running the place still needs to buy those weapons. So fucking bluff. If you can put 100% tariff on China, you can put 100% tariff on any other country, Israel included.
Yeah, no, you're right. One thing I saw, and it's so annoying that you can't rely on anything to be real these days. I saw a photograph of Trump, Epstein, and standing in between them was Pam Bondi when she was a young woman. Pam Bondi.
Who's that then?
The Attorney General of America. You've never seen. She's she's the one who decides who gets prosecuted and who doesn't. She's the one that said the Epstein files are on my desk.
Yeah, but Trump.
And then when she was questioned, well, they don't exist. We don't have any files.
Yeah, but Trump's wife was an Epstein girl.
That's what I'm saying. But Melania doesn't actually have any power, whereas Pam Bondi, absolutely super powerful.
No, she doesn't, because Trump will put her there specifically knowing that if she exposed the Epstein files, she would be exposing herself.
Well, but doesn't it annoy you that you can't rely on anything these days?
So I've been telling you for 4 years on this podcast that everything any politician says is a fucking lie.
No. Well, it's not, because there are things that are said that are true. But the point is, you can't tell what's true and what's a lie. I was actually talking to Izzy the other day, and it was difficult enough determining accurate sources of information. But now they've got AI, AI-generated videos, AI-generated photographs. It's almost impossible to determine what's real and what's not.
Yeah, but
how do you tell?
That's great for the ruling classes, because they were getting very uncomfortable with the internet exposing them for everything they did, and there was proof. But now the proof is being called into doubt.
Oh, you're right. I mean, because what do you, as I say, I mean, you have to go back to, I don't know when it was easy to doctor videos, but maybe 10 years. Anything that happened, anything that's actually 10 years old, you can sort of rely on. But after that, you can't rely on anything. And now even the 10-year-old stuff is doctored. But apparently, it's not that difficult to tell whether it's been manipulated or not. You're a computer wizard.
At the moment, you can always tell an AI a video clip, but in another 10 years,
you won't be able to.
This is why the actors went on strike in Hollywood a little while ago, because they can see what's going to happen. They will get paid for one day's work, and there'll be a 3-month production with their figure acting in a complete.
Yeah.
And that's not going to sit well with the billionaire actors.
I don't think there are many billionaire actors, are there?
Tom Cruise, definitely a billionaire.
But is he an actor, really?
No, but technically, that's what he puts on his passport.
I think I was reading
actor,
Tom Cruise.
Gay, religious nut.
You think Tom Cruise he always has young girlfriends? Actually, you're right, he's just split up with his most recent one, as I understand.
Yeah, he's just not happy unless it's up his bum, and the girls just can't do it.
Well, luckily these days, doesn't really matter.
Like all powerful people, he likes to be humiliated in private.
Is that right? So what was that? Say that again. Like all what famous people?
Powerful people.
Powerful people. They like to be humiliated in private. Is that right? Is that how you read the situation?
I mean, you look at any of these people's sexual kinks, and it tells you a story about.
You don't know anything about these people's sexual quirks.
Trump's into pee games.
Yes, that's right. No, he's not. No, because he's really germ averse, so he wouldn't let anybody pee on him, even though pee is actually sterile, isn't it? I think pee is sterile.
It is sterile. It just tastes disgusting. Even after.
Luckily, Andy, I've never tasted.
It's not something you get used to, apparently.
Though, in fact, I think there is.
Look, we've been at this too long. We need to do this.
What? What was that? That was really crap.
That's my Halloween jingle.
Yes, of course.
2 stories today that I need to tell you.
True or two?
2 true stories.
Is this Strange Stuff podcast true, or is this actual true stuff?
Actual facts. Actual real life facts.
Right.
And the first one, this is
Empire.
Actually, no. But they say that behind every life, there's an echo. And sometimes that echo lingers just as a memory, a photograph or a scent, a faint voice that drifts across the years. And sometimes those echoes seem to find a way to return. And today, I want to take you to northern England, to a quiet town of stone cottages and church bells, where one ordinary family came to believe that death might not be the end after all.
So it's a ghost story.
It's a story of loss and of mystery, and a story that still unsettles both scientists and believers alike.
Scientists got involved.
They did. And it's called the Pollock Twins case, and it remains one of the strangest documented accounts of apparent reincarnation in modern history.
Is that what they call ghosts? Para-reincarnation?
No, I didn't say it was ghosts. I said it remains one of the strangest documented accounts of apparent reincarnation.
Apparent, sorry, I thought you said para. Apparent reincarnation. We like reincarnation, it gives us all a second chance.
Well, in the spring of 1957, John and Florence Pollock lived in the small town of Hexham in Northumberland. Have you been there?
I've never been to the north.
No, of course not. It's like me, I've never been anywhere past Watford. Is just, no. It's savage area. The Eerie dragons. The family was close and by all accounts happy. They were hard-working people. John ran a grocery delivery business. Foodora, probably. And Florence cared for the 2 daughters, Joanna, who was 11, and Jacqueline, who was 6. Neighbours remembered Joanna as kind and responsible, the sort of child who helped her mum and looked out for her little sister. Jacqueline, who was the younger by 5 years, was playful and impulsive, just a typical kid, with an imagination that kept the household lively. Then, on May the 3rd, tragedy struck. While walking to church on a bright Sunday morning, the 2 girls were hit by a car, driven by a distraught woman who had recently lost her own children. The collision was instantaneous, and both sisters died at the scene. The 3rd child, walking with them, one of their friends, was also killed. Now, Hexham was a small community, and everyone knew the Pollocks, so their grief was immense, and it changed them. John, who had always been a man of faith, clung desperately to the idea that his daughters' souls might live on. Florence, although religious, found that notion a bit painful and she resisted it. She needed to move forward and he could not. For months, John spoke to them often about the possibility of reincarnation. He told Florence that he believed Joanna and Jacqueline would return to them. Florence, of course, was begging him to stop. She thought it was morbid and almost blasphemous, but he held on to the belief as tightly as he could, as tightly as he once held his daughter's hands. Nearly a year after the accident, Florence discovered she was pregnant again, and John was certain that this pregnancy was a sign. He said, "They're coming back." Florence, weary and afraid, tried not to argue. On October the 4th, 1958, she gave birth to twin girls, Gillian and Jennifer, identical, healthy, and by all appearances, ordinary babies. But John immediately noticed details that he couldn't explain. Jennifer the younger by 10 minutes, had a small white line across her forehead, in the same place where Jacqueline had once had a scar from a childhood fall. She also had a dark birthmark on her left hip, exactly where Jacqueline had one. Gillian had none. To most parents, those markings would mean nothing, but to John Pollock, they were proof that his daughters had returned. At first, Florence refused to hear about it. She hid the old photographs and toys of Joanna and Jacqueline, sealed away in boxes. She wanted the twins to have their own lives, unshadowed by the dead. But soon, the shadows began to creep back. When the twins were about 2 years old, the family moved from Hexham to Whitley Bay, on the coast. They had never seen the home where the older girls had lived, and they were too young to remember any talk of it. Yet when they began to speak, strange phrases slipped into their play. They asked for Mary doll and the school blocks. They described toys that had belonged to Joanna and Jacqueline, items that Florence had packed away hidden since before their birth. When she finally brought the boxes down, what is going on in the background?
No, it's you. It's your voice that's.
There was a humming noise, like a lawnmower or something.
From my end, I'm dead silent here.
Coming in my headphones. Oh.
It's the cat.
When she finally brought those boxes down from the attic, the twins ran straight to them. Each child chose the toys that belonged to her corresponding sister, without hesitation and without ever being told which was which. At first, Florence thought it coincidence, or perhaps imagination. But then there were the memories, fragments, that nobody had taught them. During bath time, the girls would point to Jennifer's birthmark and say, "That's where the car hit me." They spoke of the accident with a quiet familiarity that froze Florence's blood. John, meanwhile, was keeping careful notes of every incident. He wasn't a scientist, but he was methodical, writing down each phrase and event, determined to prove that his daughters had indeed been reborn. In 1961, when the twins were about 3, the family decided to visit Hexham again, and it was the first time the girls had ever been there. As they drove into town, Gillian pointed excitedly through the window. "There's our school," she said. Jennifer chimed in, "And that's where we used to play." John and Florence could only just stare at each other. The school was hidden behind trees, and they hadn't mentioned it. The twins couldn't possibly have known.
So they're about 3 years old now.
Later, during a walk through town, the girls seemed to recognise landmarks effortlessly. They led their parents down familiar streets, around corners to a playground tucked behind a wall. They ran ahead, laughing as if they were returning to one of their favourite haunts. Florence wrote in her diary that it felt like watching ghosts retrace their steps, and the experience left her shaken for days. The Pollock story might well have remained a private family mystery if it wasn't for a visiting researcher. Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist from the University of Virginia who had spent years collecting reports of children who claimed to remember previous lives. He was cautious, sceptical but curious, and the Pollock twins' case was unlike any other. Stevenson visited the family, interviewed them extensively, and recorded their accounts in detail. He tested for suggestion, coaching, and coincidence, and he found none. In his later publication, 20 Cases Suggested of Reincarnation, because why not have a catchy title, Stevenson described the Pollock twins as one of the most persuasive examples he had ever encountered. He noted the physical marks, their behavioural similarities to the deceased sisters, and their spontaneous recognitions of places and objects. But he also recorded something even stranger: the twins' intense fear of moving vehicles. Whenever a car approached, they would cling to each other and scream. Jennifer, in particular, would cry, "The car is coming for us," words that she'd never been taught. Florence once asked her daughters where they thought they had come from. Gillian answered simply, "We were at school before." Then Jennifer said, "We came back because Mummy needed us." As the girls grew older, these moments, of course, became rarer. And by age 7, the memories had mostly faded. They attended school, made friends, and gradually lost all recollection of their supposed past lives. Stevenson would later note that this fading pattern was typical in such cases. The memories, he said, seemed to weaken as the new personality matured, as though two currents were merging into one. Even as adults, the twins remembered fragments, dreamlike scenes that felt both familiar and distant. They never claimed to remember being Joanna or Jacqueline. They simply felt, at times, that they had lived something before. For John Pollock, that was enough. He died convinced that his daughter's souls had returned to him. So at least he was happy.
They must still be alive, these Pollock twins. If they were 3 and 61, they're only in their mid-60s now.
Florence remained unsure to her last days, torn between faith and disbelief. But for those who study such mysteries, the Pollock twins became a kind of benchmark, a case that resists easy explanation. Coincidence seems too neat and imagination too shallow. The details, the marks, the memories, the recognition, they all line up far too precisely. Yet no mechanism, no scientific law can account for it. Sometimes the strangest mysteries are not found in haunted houses, but in the living, breathing echoes of those who've been here before.
No. That's vampire music. It's vampire music. It's got nothing to do with reincarnation of young girls.
Yeah, but it's spooky. Give me a break. I only had 5 minutes before we started recording.
Really, I hadn't heard of that story, actually, the Pollock twins. It's well known in these fields, is it?
Very well known. I've heard podcasts about it in the past, and they've taken a lot longer than the 20 minutes I dallied over it. But I truncated it on purpose because I wanted to do a couple of stories for our Halloween episode. And although that's not particularly spooky, it's kind of ghostly.
Admittedly, but why didn't you call one of these women for an interview? That's the sort of production value that we would appreciate. Wrexham can't be that big a town. You've got their names. Give them a call. Oi, I'm Andy. I'm doing a podcast.
You've probably heard of me. I'm the one who did that numpty. What's his name?
All right. So, sorry, what were the first two? Jacqueline and
I've got the second story up here now. I can't scroll.
Because it was a bit naughty them calling them similar names, Gillian and Joanne. I mean,
as a father, I would have been forever tripping up.
Yeah.
I mean, even my mum used to call me both my brothers' names before she got to mine.
Really?
Yeah. It was always like Rob, Ron, Andrew every time.
Right. So that was a little bit spooky. What are we doing for number 2? Is that another reincarnation story?
This is the proper spooky.
Do. Oh, no. Is that Ronnie?
Every capital city has its secrets. Hidden stories that never make it into the history books. Whispered rumours that cling to the walls long after the lights go out. But in Washington, D.C., there's one story that keeps coming back. And they call it the Demon Cat of Capitol Hill.
The Demon Cat of Capitol Hill.
It's a ghostly creature said to appear in the marble corridors of power. A black cat with glowing eyes that's haunting the US Capitol building itself. Some say it's a myth. Others swear that they've seen it, but the truth is stranger than you might think.
All cats have glowy eyes, don't they?
If you put a light in them, yeah.
In fact, sorry, I know it's a bit pathetic, but does sometimes it have red eyes and sometimes it's got blue eyes?
Yeah.
Depending on the time of day or something, they get different coloured eyes.
Depending on whether they're planning to murder you.
All right, what's the warning signal? I assume that's red, is
it? Yeah. Well, tonight we're stepping into the shadows of the Capitol to meet the Demon Cat.
I think mine was better, actually.
The United States Capitol building, a symbol of democracy, power, and permanence until Trump decides he wants to take.
I was going to say, I hope this poor cat wasn't in the East Wing. What is these curtains?
But beneath the domes and statues lies another world. There's a maze of tunnels, storage rooms, and forgotten chambers, dark, cold, and filled with echoes. During the Civil War, the basement of the Capitol was used as a bakery to feed Union soldiers. So you can imagine it, flour dust in the air, men sleeping on sacks of grain, candles flickering along the stone walls. And among the soldiers came the cats. Dozens.
What? Why?
Brought in to keep away the rats that infested.
I see. Yep. Yep.
But when the war ended and the soldiers left, some of the cats didn't. At least one didn't.
Meow.
The first official sighting dates back to the 60s. A night guard patrolling the crypt beneath the Capitol, a circular room originally meant to be George Washington's burial place. He reported hearing a soft sound behind him, like a gentle purr. When he turned around, he saw a black cat sitting in the shadows. He laughed. "Shoo!" he said, waving his lantern. The cat didn't move. Instead, it began to grow, its body stretching, its eyes widening into glowing orbs, and within seconds it was larger than a lion. The guard screamed and the cat lunged, and then nothing. When other guards arrived, they found him unconscious on the floor, his rifle beside him. No cat, no tracks. Couple of empty bottles, perhaps.
I was going to say, what did they drink in those days? Rum had they been drinking?
But he swore to the day he died that the demon cat was real. For the next century, sightings continued, always by Capitol guards, there's a pattern here, and always late at night, and always just before something terrible happened. In 1898, a guard claimed that he saw the demon cat the night before the assassination of President William McKinley. In 1929, it appeared again, crouched in a Capitol corridor just days before the stock market crash. Then, in 1963, a janitor working beneath the rotunda claimed he saw a pair of glowing eyes in the darkness. A week later, John F. Kennedy was shot in Dallas. Coincidence? Maybe. But in Washington, even coincidences have consequences. In the 1950s, a Capitol police officer made one of the most famous reports. He'd been on the graveyard shift, patrolling the old Senate wing. At around 3 a.m., he sat down just to rest his eyes for a minute. Then he felt it. Something was licking his hand.
Oh.
Half asleep, he reached down, expecting a stray cat. I would have been expecting a timer. Instead, he felt a cold, wet nose.
No, it's a dog.
Claws.
Dear.
He opened his eyes to see a massive black shape crouched beside him, glowing eyes inches from his face. He screamed, stumbled backward, and fired his gun. The bullet echoed off marble walls. But when the backup arrived, there was nothing there. No cat.
Cats don't have wet noses, do they?
Yeah.
They don't. It's dogs who have wet noses.
Anything with a nose can have it wet or dry.
Speak for yourself.
Mine is wet all winter.
Is it?
Yeah.
Your nose is wet all winter?
Yeah, absolutely. Runs all the time.
God. Oh dear, I'm thinking of your moustache now. That silly moustache you've tried to grow.
Right, it runs like an Ethiopian with a chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no cat, no blood, just the echo and the smell of gunpowder. Down in the small Senate rotunda, you can still find marks, paw prints pressed into the concrete, tiny perfect impressions, as if an animal walked through wet cement decades ago. And, scratched beside them, 2 initials, DC. Demon cat.
Demon.
Just in case you're confused about whose paw prints they are, of course he's going to autograph them.
You're in Washington, D.C. Is that what D.C. stands for in Washington?
Demon cat. Some people say it stands for demon cat. Others insist it's just one of the workers marking his spot. But every Halloween, tourists still stop there staring at those prints. And if you're quiet, you can hear the scratching.
You can go on tourist tours of the White House.
Yeah, you can go on tourist tours of the Buckingham Palace as well if you want.
Yeah, but, well, I suppose you can do the Houses of Parliament, which is... No, what's the White House? You're right, the White House is more akin to Buckingham Palace, isn't it?
Yeah, but the scratching comes from below.
Below.
Skeptics say that the demon cat is nothing but imagination, a mix of superstition, exhaustion, alcohol, and the echoing loneliness of late-night shifts. The Capitol is, after all, full of tunnels and corners where sound plays tricks. A guard's flashlight can catch a shadow, a breeze can stir the curtains, and suddenly a story is born. But others disagree. Capitol historians admit that strange events cluster around those sightings, tragedies, assassinations, disasters. So is it a coincidence? Or is the demon cat a kind of omen, a spectral warning from the other side? And if so, who sent it?
Well, I'll tell you what, he should have appeared before bloody Trump getting into power. Why didn't he make his appearance then, for God's sake?
Well, I've got a couple of testimonials.
From the demon cat
One
itself?
One from the cat, two from people who work there. The first one was an older man. He worked at security at the Capitol.
Yeah, but he didn't come from Cornwall, did he, Andy? He didn't come from Cornwall.
He worked security at the Capitol for 20 years. You hear stories and you laugh them off. Until one night, you hear a sound.
He's a bit monotone, that cat. He needs to broaden his vocabulary.
A cat crying in the vents. You shine your flashlight and something shines back. The second one was from a woman.
That's it.
He never said
That is the...
Yes.
That was the recollection. A Cornish pilot said he saw something, he's flashed his light and something flashed him back.
Yeah, sounds like last time I was in the park. The second witness statement, you'll like this one. He never saw it, but sometimes, the night before a big news break, you can smell it. Like fur.
What does a cat smell of?
Like fur and dust. Like something is watching.
It smells like someone's watching you.
No, it smells like fur and dust.
I don't know what cats smell like. I suppose they're sort of dusty, aren't they? A bit catty.
Fur and dust. I mean, they all smell different, actually. Xena, she had a great smell. I could literally pick her up and just huff on her because she smelled lovely.
And that a cat has a natural, nice odour.
Not all of them. They all smell differently. I can tell my cats apart from the smell of their cat. It's like girl.
Can you?
Yeah, if you sniff a girl's armpit, you can name them blindfolded, or I can. It's one of my talents.
Do you go around sniffing cats' armpits?
Well, not cats exactly, but I did categorise a lot of young ladies by their armpits.
Girlfriends, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a bit of a fetish.
Yeah, maybe. It's one that I'm quite happy to have. But today, most Capitol staff have heard the legend, and some laugh, and others cross themselves before walking in the basement halls. The paw prints remain, and sometimes, late at night, the motion sensors trip, but there's nothing. Sorry,
just to recap. That second witness, that is the totality of the story.
Yeah, she
smelt something like fur and dust.
Yeah.
And that is supposedly supporting the demon cat.
It's pretty conclusive, if you ask me. Security footage shows only a blur of shadow. Low to the ground, moving fast.
Well, I see there's a bit of security footage, is there?
Yes, but I don't have it, so no, you can't see it. Maybe the demon cat isn't real. Maybe it's a guardian. A dark spirit watching over the Capitol, warning of danger to come. Or maybe it's something else entirely. Maybe it's a curse left behind when the Capitol's foundations were built over graves, when history was still soaked in war and blood. Whatever it is, one thing is certain: the story refuses to die. So, if you ever find yourself walking in the halls of the US Capitol after dark and you hear a soft purdy behind you, don't turn around, because the demon cat doesn't like to be seen. And if you do see it, you might not live to tell the tale.
Are we allowed to use that? What is that? Well, yeah, but that's... Oh, you're right. I suppose Halloween is a bit more... Have we got a vampire story coming, or is that it?
No, that was it. That's
Really?
episode, exactly one of our English hours.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's quite relevant, bearing in mind what we were talking about earlier, that they're pulling down the east wing of the White House. It was just ridiculous to say it.
Yeah.
Trump is demolishing the east wing of the White House.
Make a fucking ballroom. It's going to take 3 years to build a ballroom. He's supposed to be in office for 2. What does...
No, he's got 3 more years.
Has he? So
Yeah, he's got 3 more
it's
years.
basically for his leaving.
What's this Argentina story? Why is he giving Argentina 20 billion?
And probably to finance their war against us.
I don't know, it sounds a bit weird why I can't remember the story why he's giving Argentina 20 billion.
Back payment for cocaine. You know, he's using the tax money to pay off his Charlie debt.
I don't think he does. He doesn't do alcohol or drugs, does he, Trump? It's the one thing he doesn't do.
I would never let a man run a country who's got no vices, except for people.
I think he's got plenty of vices. It's just they don't happen to be alcohol and cocaine.
I mean, the thing is, if you do his sexual depravity sober and straight,
it's worse than if you're drunk.
Worse. At least when you're drunk, you've got an excuse or mitigating circumstances.
But... Anyway, so Halloween, of course, ghosty stories. Ghosty cat stories.
Well,
what were those 2 girls called? The Prescott twins? Anyway, whatever.
They were Pollocks, the Pollock Twins.
The Pollock Twins. Good. Well, you know the clocks... we already talked about it. The clock go back on the Saturday night.
I can't believe it. Can you prove that?
That's what. Can I have that button, please? That's the button I want.
Yeah, the clocks go back on Saturday, you said.
Can you do a button for me? Utter nonsense. You can AI record my voice if you want to. Utter nonsense. That's bollocks.
Well, then, you see, what you're doing is you're talking yourself out of a job.
Well, you actually...
I don't need you if I've got that on tape.
No, you're right, because I contribute so little to the conversation. In fact, funny enough, I used to, well, I still do, they record my voice for information purposes at the ski races. So when they're at the start line, they get information in English, and it's me. And I was saying to the guy, because I did it a couple of months ago, I was saying to the guy that I'm probably out of a job because you can just use AI. Just not morph, what do you call it? Copy my voice and put it into whatever text you want to.
Yeah, but
so you're right.
Don't give them ideas, because all these things can and will happen.
They're already here. They're already happening. Absolutely. In fact, I wonder, it would be interesting, and I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult. Could you actually do a little AI experiment with replacing me with an AI thing?
Yeah, easily.
You have speech recognition AI, don't you? You don't have to type in. You can just talk to them. And you could say, interject with humorous quips whenever you feel appropriate.
But then all our listeners would know it wasn't you because you don't do the humour.
What do you mean?
I don't actually get the humour in this show.
And it goes straight over my head.
I could
the humour in my own show.
I could replace you with a jet aircraft sound.
Oh dear. All right. So now I've got to warn you, I think in a couple of weeks. Oh no, well in December I'm away for a week.
Okay. Well,
we can talk about that later.
I might replace you with an AI. Well, okay then. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's episode.
Well done.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, I did. Yep.
And we'll be back the same time next week with a non-Halloween episode. In the meantime, have yourselves a strange week. And don't get attacked by demon cats. And don't have your daughters come back and haunt you as your new children, because
Yeah.
It's just downright creepy. In the meantime,
Yeah.
bye for now.
Bye for now.